When you think about the best ball strikers in golf, especially best iron players, you may think of Scottie Scheffler or maybe even Collin Morikawa, but statistically, one of the best approach players in all of professional golf is someone that many casual golf fans haven't even heard of, but that's Tom Hoge. Hoge routinely ranks in the top 10 of strokes gained approach on the PGA Tour, and although he hasn't been around for too long on the PGA Tour with full status, all of his great finishes on the tour, especially his win at Pebble Beach a few years ago, have really come on the back of absolutely phenomenal ball striking with the irons. So let's take a look at a bunch of videos of Tom Hoge swing, and let's break down and analyze a few aspects of it that I think anyone at home can learn from in order to become a better iron player. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that backswing and the takeaway move. It's a nice takeaway move in that it comes outside of the ball a little bit. I find that some amateurs come really steeply inside the ball, and that puts you in a pretty tough position right off the get-go. So you see how that club kind of comes out, and then he's a little bit steep through the ball in transition. Now, this is something that I would say a lot of the game's very best iron players are. They're a little bit steep through the ball. I think of Collin Morikawa, someone who predominantly plays a fade, Alex Noren, both very steep with the irons, and what that really allows them to do is have a lot of shaft lean and excellent compression of the golf ball. If there's one constant between all excellent iron players, it's that they're very, very good at compressing the ball. Now, shaft lean is a super important aspect. From this front-on view, you can really see how Hoge gets those hands out ahead of the ball, especially with the shorter irons that you really want to make a nice divot with. Having those hands in front of the ball is going to allow those hands to return to the ball at impact slightly in front as well. You see here in this slow motion how the hands and the handle get through the ball before the club face makes contact. Now, there's a great instructional quote that some people use, which is don't stop the handle. If you hook the ball, if you thin the ball often, it may be because through the impact zone, you're kind of letting the handle stay pointed at your belly button. You're letting those wrists kind of flip through the ball. That is not at all conducive to making solid contact with your iron. So we want to do the exact opposite. We want to hold that wrist angle through the ball, let those hands pass over the ball when you're looking down at the ball, let those hands and let the handle of the club pass over that ball and really feel a downward impact position. This is especially true with, the pitching wedge and the 9-iron. Not as a significant a shaft lean should be present when hitting, say, a 4-iron, but for the general gist of compression of the golf ball, get those hands forward and make a nice downward impact on the ball. Now let's really slow this swing down and look at two things here. One, look at the head. It's dropping down notably. And two, look at all of the bend on that left side and then the explosion through the ball. One thing that I find very interesting about Tom Hoge's move is that although he is a little bit steep in transition, that's normally conducive to a fade, but Hoge really isn't, he's obviously proficient with the fade, but he turns to the draw a little bit more often from what I've seen him do in watching broadcasts and in understanding a little bit more about Hoge's game. I think he's able to do that by really keeping that chest active and letting those hands drop down just a little bit right before impact to get a little bit more of a neutral path through the ball. And also, if you can just keep that right arm and get that right hand a little bit more active, get that right wrist just slightly rolling over, then you can close that club face down and maybe produce a little bit of a draw. But it really shows the athleticism and hand-eye coordination that Hoge has, that even though there can be some steepness in the golf swing, which he certainly uses to his advantage, he can still work the ball both ways, which is very impressive. Now, the final thing that I want to point out about Hoge swing is one thing that you'll notice is the incredible balance throughout this golf swing, and how with irons, even if it's a longer iron, maybe a 4 or a 5 iron, it never looks like he's really trying to get after one. He's great at distance control because he stays quite balanced and he knocks down a lot of shots. He doesn't have this big full follow through that some players have when they want to hit a 350-yard drive. It's all very controlled and he stays within himself beautifully, which helps for two reasons. reasons. One, a shorter golf swing is easier to control distance with. When you think about the people who can be a little bit wayward, especially when it comes to off the tee, it's those who have a really long swing, they struggle with low point control. By staying within yourself, you're going to probably get some more consistently solid contact. And the other great benefit of having that nice knockdown swing and is the inherent balance that comes with it. There's a beautiful rhythm and balance to Hoge Swing. You know, I don't think a lot of people are going to call Tom Hoge Swing the most beautiful golf swing they've ever seen, but good Lord, is it one of the more functional that we see, especially with an iron in his hand. What do you think about Tom Hoge's golf swing? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. I think Hoge is criminally underrated, really, really great with the irons in hand, obviously, and when that putter heats up, he can certainly be in contention. It would be no surprise to me to see him in the winner's circle sometime soon. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Play well, and take care.